Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this is the crypto market today. It's at 1.7 trillion. Bitcoin crossed back over 40,000, and things seem like they're coming along here. I just wanted to show you one thing that I found interesting. I saw a few tweets going around, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where there was a quote anomaly going on, and it only happened with certain digital assets. That it was like, and I don't know where it happened, but it was like they dropped like a rock out of nowhere and then went right back to where they were. Probably some glitch, but it happened to Cardano. You'll see here. It happened to XRP as you go down. It happened with Solana, and then there was some that went up with it, the Binance USD. But as you go down, you'll see that it happened with a few of them. I have no idea why. Tron, DAI, Aave. So anyway, wild west. Now, this is something I just saw. Digital Perspectives, which is Brad Combs. I just saw him post this. He apparently interviewed Clinton Donnelly. Now, I'm going to give you my disclaimers here on this. This is about the flare tax issue. A lot of people got mad because I had talked about how this was a potential issue, the idea of getting a drop and there being ordinary income taxes as well as capital gains, short or long term. And look, this has been my position from the beginning, and I don't blame Flare for this. I blame the IRS, because the IRS could easily, this is probably the second or biggest drop like this, or fork, whatever you want to call it. This is probably the biggest one that has happened in the history of crypto. The IRS should come out and give clear guidance. In lieu of that, and if they don't do that, and this is my point, you can get a million accountants to give you a million different things ways that they think this should be handled. And that's the problem here, is that there is no definitive. The people at Flare can get an accountant to say one thing, another accountant could say, your accountant could say something different. And what you have to do as an investor is listen to your accountant or your collection of accountants, and in my opinion, you got to approach it from a conservative standpoint. That's the way I'm going to do it, because nobody knows exactly. And anyone who tells you that, oh, well, this is the way and therefore this is it. No, unless the IRS comes out and tells you that is not it. And that, again, that's not an attack on Flare. It wouldn't matter if Flare was doing an airdrop or freaking anybody, Bitcoin Cash or anybody that's doing an airdrop. You're going to have to talk to your accountant, because I'm not one. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor. You're going to have to talk to your accountant and be, you're going to have to, then you're just going to have to use your common sense based on the advice you're getting, I guess, and approach it from that angle. And this proves my whole point right here. This is Clinton Donnelly. Listen to what he says.
And so people have tried to play.
I'm going to turn this up a little bit, because that's not quite loud enough.
And so people have tried to play some different games. For example, there is a YouTube clip out there with Hugh Pilion suggesting that the payment, that the price of the subsequent Spark tokens would be equal to the amount of Spark you have to burn in order to retrieve those onto your wallet, and that would be such a very small price. That's what he's suggesting. That would be the purchase price. That would be your fair market value price, and almost negligible, he suggests. Now, I disagree with that, because the IRS has this notion of what's called constructive ownership.
Okay, so that is what basically constructive ownership means. That, in my understanding, and not an accountant, constructive ownership means that the value is at the time that you have you actually have possession of it and can sell it or whatever. That's what I'm assuming that means. Now, but back, I'll make my point again. The point is this: unless the IRS comes out and gives us a very specific thing on this particular, some very specific guidance on this, you can get just like with attorneys, you can get the opinion of one, they're going to say this, another's going to say this, and it's like we're all sitting out here and what do we do? And that's not an attack on Flair. It's really an attack on why can't the IRS, why can't they just give us some very clear guidance on how this would work? Well, that's what his video is about, and so you can go. But the clip he was referencing was this one from Mickey B that I played a few, and it's great that they put this out. It's great that Mickey B had put this out. This was Hugo, and I had played it the other day, where he's basically saying that after your first drop, you're paying a little bit, and therefore you're paying to receive something, and that makes it where it's not taxable. Okay, that's the way I understood it anyway. You can go and watch it. He's at Mr. Fresh Time, definite follow. But anyway, the overall point of this thing is that nothing is written in stone. You're going to have to talk to your accountants on how to handle the taxation of the flare drop and how it's going to be taxed. And then you're going to, unless the IRS gets very specific, you're kind of on a wing and a prayer as far as how you handle that, in my opinion. Okay, hedge fund expects to hold 7% of assets in crypto within 5 years. Since the very beginning of this channel, I have told you that I believe that crypto will be anywhere from 1 to 5% in the portfolios of retail, institutional, and now we're talking hedge funds. And I still believe that 1 to 5% allocation. Typically, that's about where commodities were in portfolios. Financial advisor. I've told you how when I was a financial advisor, you go in and you speak to a client based on their age and their situation and a lot of different factors. You're going to allocate their portfolio into different assets based on which ones are risky, which ones are not. If it's someone who's in retirement or close to retirement, you would weight it heavier towards things that are income producing and less risky and that kind of thing. So anyway, crypto, 1 to 5%, all the money, okay? But it's the asset class to swallow all other asset classes. Crypto Bull 2020. XRP went from 17 cents to $1.96 without the lawsuit having ended. That's 1,160%. The next phase of the bull run will be even more euphoric. Just another 1,160%, which I think is small when this thing's really finally done. We'll take XRP from $1.96 to $22.50. The SEC is meaningless as 90% of XRP business is outside the U.S. Well, in the grand scheme of things, they probably are, but they are relevant in that when you get a settlement, any kind of resolution to this, sit back and enjoy the show. That's all I got to say. Now, this is what was going on yesterday. Big deal in the space. From Jeremy Hogan, the judge grants SEC's motion for 60 more days to conduct discovery. Not expected, but this will push the entire case back 60 days. That would mean quick calculation, summary judgment sometime in December, January, absent a settlement. This case is going to end in early 2022. Okay, I think that's pretty good news, actually. But look, I'll say it again. Either all the world's a stage, or this is a political witch hunt, and the SEC wants, like this particular thing here, they want to drag this out as long as possible to hurt Ripple as much as possible, which would make Ripple want to settle, and it's a negotiating thing. It's not the end of Ripple, and it's certainly not the end of XRP. It's a negotiating thing that's going on. Everything you're watching, or you're watching All the World's a Stage. I believe one of them, but I won't go any further into that. Now, let's move along. Now, this was very interesting. The most interesting piece of information that I got, and I'm going to give some proper credit here. President-elect George Vegdelek sent me this. It's a tweet from Jordan Harry, who has a YouTube channel. And he said hidden in plain sight. I like that. That looks like a thumbnail. Let me give Jordan Harry some credit here and get you to go subscribe to his channel. Looks like he's got 3.74 thousand subscribers. I'm going to subscribe to him, and I think you should too, because he had a good find. This is how stars are born. Maybe Jordan Harry is one of the new up-and-coming YouTubers. Give him a subscribe. He found this, and I don't remember ever finding this or seeing it. Global, and I think it's relatively new, Global Future Council on Cryptocurrencies. And as you got, these are the members. Well, I went through all of the members. Let's go through them. Brad Garlinghouse, I think we know him, CEO of Ripple. Dan L. Dixon, Chief Executive Officer, Stellar Development Foundation. I'm going through the ones that I found interesting. Galia Benartzi. She was a venture partner at Peter Thiel's Founders Fund, a founding member of Summit Powder Mountain, and organizer of Bretton Woods 75. All right? But this right here, venture, I've told you, I think, remember, I told you PayPal Galactic was announced in 2013 by David Marcus, who was then president of PayPal and then later went to Facebook and was the guy that started the Libra project. I believe that PayPal Galactic has everything to do with Stellar and Ripple, or XRP. I believe that Peter Thiel has been involved in all of this from the very beginning. I believe that PayPal has been involved in all this from the very beginning. I believe that the ones in the game that we know are in the game. It comes from the World Economic Forum. XRP, XLM, Algorand. They've got one called CeeLo, and then Solana. We know those are in the game because we've seen them. There's a few others too. Okay, then we've got this guy, Jose Fernandez de Pont. He is VP of Global Business Development at PayPal. What do you know? Then we've got Matthew Davey. He's also elected board member at the Libra Association, which is in charge of the Diem project. I think Diem from Facebook is in this game too. Then we have, remember, the official father of the digital asset investor has told us all from the very beginning, nothing happens in the financial world without JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. Well, turns out they're in the game. They've been behind the scenes for the most part. Christine Moy leads JP Morgan's global blockchain team, tasked with setting up a comprehensive blockchain strategy for the firm and its various lines of business. And yes, this is the same company. Jamie Dimon told us that it was all just a big bunch of hooey, right? For years. Ollie Harris, he's part of the digital asset team at Goldman Sachs. He was an executive director at JP Morgan, where he created corporate investment bank's digital strategy and fintech team. See, this is a turnstile, folks. They're all the same people. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, SEC. It's all the same people, folks. Then there's Joseph Lubin. You remember who he is. He's the guy that got the Ethereum free pass and was one of the founders of Ethereum and got all that Ethereum when they did the pre-sale ICO and got to keep it. SEC left him alone, and by pure coincidence, he was a software engineer in finance and cryptography during employment with Goldman Sachs. I believe, this is just my opinion, putting all this together, I believe that Goldman Sachs was behind Ethereum. That's just purely my opinion. I can't prove it, but just based on everything I've seen, I think Goldman Sachs, I think it was completely downplayed, Goldman Sachs's position in Ethereum. Wouldn't you love to see how much Ethereum Goldman Sachs and the boys owned before that pre-sale back in 2014? Then you have on this World Economic Forum, this Global Crypto Council, Kai Sheffield, which I talked about a week or two ago. He's the head of crypto at Visa. And then you have this guy, Alpen Sheth. He was a PhD at MIT, where Gary Gensler was. And he is policy working group at the Libra Association. And then you have Ariana Simpson. She's a partner at A16Z Crypto, founder of Autonomous Partners. But this is what I want to focus on. What is A16Z Crypto? Well, That is Andreessen Horowitz, one of the first investors in Ripple that's run by Mark Andreessen, who started Netscape. And then I just wanted to show you this. OpenCoin, Andreessen Horowitz invested in OpenCoin, which was what was before Ripple. First it was OpenCoin in April 11th, 2013. So he invested early. But look who else invested. I want you to focus on this. What is FF Angel for? Well, FF stands for something, and I think you'll know what that stands for. FF, this is Pathfinder. Pathfinder, previously known as FF Angel, is the early stage investment vehicle of venture capital firm Founders Fund, sub-organization of Founders Fund, which is Peter Thiel, who was one of the founders of PayPal. Founders Fund, FF. I give you Peter Thiel, PayPal Galactic. There are no coincidences, folks. Ian Northing sent me this. I tweeted out this morning that I am going to start doing, and I'll finish this video here, I guess. I'm going to start doing every once in a while, I'll do a section, and I'm going to call it Bitcoin Maxis Gone Wild. And that's a takeoff of back in the 90s. You may remember on TV, they had this Girls Gone Wild. It was like this big thing that was some videotape that they'd go to the beaches and find drunk women and all in video and all. So this is going to be Bitcoin Maxis Gone Wild, okay? And today is the first feature of Bitcoin Maxis Gone Wild. Anytime the Bitcoin Maxis are really going off the rails and saying something that's really nuts, I will show it to you, and we will call it Bitcoin Maxis Gone Wild. Michael Saylor, there's nobody better to feature than Michael Saylor in this first installment.
I think the U.S. dollar is going to spread to 5 billion people. I think that this decade is going to see the explosion of the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency of the world. It'll be the digital currency that'll be on every iPhone and every Android phone in every country in Africa and Asia and South America. And it'll move on Bitcoin rails. The Bitcoin Open Monetary Protocol is what allows the U.S. dollar to spread to billions of people. In an inflationary environment, money breaks down into two forms. There's a medium of exchange, we'll call it the currency, and that'll be controlled by governments, and the U.S. currency is going to be the most powerful one. And then you need a store of value, and that's an asset, and Bitcoin is the most powerful store of value on Earth.
So to recap, the U.S. dollar is going to run on Bitcoin rails, okay? These are those are the same rails that can take you up to 3 hours when the market is really humming. And so the US dollar is going to operate on those. So at times you'll be waiting for 3 hours to send your digital US dollar somewhere. He's all over it, folks. Now I want to finish by letting you know, Link2, who's one of my sponsors, litecoin.com, they just added Kraken private equity to the platform. It's at $71.50. Remember, Kraken's going to be the second, I think they're going to be the second exchange to go public if they go public instead of being bought out or something. And remember, Coinbase was somewhere around $300. Kraken is the next one to go. Right now it's at $71.50 on Link2. They're one of my sponsors, and I'm also a customer of theirs. I go on and buy. I've bought Kraken on their platform myself. But I have links in the description to Link2, and you can go to linqto.com as well. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that Kraken private equity is for sale on the